These are the dumbest things to ever happen in Star Wars. Like when Rey finds the ancient Sith dagger and says this dagger has done horrible things, even though she's literally walking around with Anakin's Youngling Slayer 9000 lightsaber. Having the absolute perfect parting of ways for Din and Grogu at the end of The Mandalorian Season 2, and then immediately having them reunite in a completely different show in the Book of Boba Fett. Speaking of the Book of Boba Mid, the 360 spin that this guy pulls off is forever one of the funniest and most useless things I've ever seen. And don't even get me started on the Scooter Gang mod squad in Book of Boba Fett that literally has a chase scene where they're going 2 miles per hour. I think this one had to be perfectly dumb, but in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series when he hides Leia under his coat like an episode of Scooby-Doo, it's just so dumb. Now, Star Wars has had a real problem with fake deaths and bringing people back all the times, but I think the worst of it is when everybody is now just getting stabbed by lightsabers just to come back like 2 episodes later and be completely fine. Every time it happens, it just takes away from Qui-Gon Jinn's death, and don't even talk about the placement of the lightsaber blade. I don't care, it's still dumb that they survive it all the time now. Maybe the dumbest of them all is the line, "Somehow Palpatine returned." The Leia chase scene in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is seriously one of the goofiest things I've ever seen in my life. This entire scene just moves in slow motion and it literally feels like something that's in a show for like kindergartners. Or when Disney spent literally millions of dollars on de-aging Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett. When the guy that played the body double of Luke Skywalker on the left here literally looks exactly like a young Mark Hamill. Like, just let this kid do the job. The line "they fly now" in The Rise of Skywalker when the jetpacks have literally been in use since the early days of the Republic. Bringing back Luke, Leia, and Han in the sequel trilogy and not giving them one single scene together is just a huge misstep. I can't decide if the lightsaber helicopters are the dumbest thing in Star Wars or the coolest thing in Star Wars. The fact that Disney thought we needed an origin story about Han Solo got the last name Solo is just so unbelievably dumb. Speaking of Solo, the fact that Kathleen Kennedy blamed the movie flopping financially on them recasting Han, and even going as far as saying that clearly audiences didn't like recasting a legacy character and they're never gonna do that again. When A, Ewan McGregor as a recast of the younger version of Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of the most beloved castings of all time, and B, Disney literally released Solo 2 weeks after they released Infinity War, and they're surprised that Solo got overshadowed at the box office. Or how about the time when Palpatine told Dooku to then hire Jango Fett, who then hired Zam Wesell, who then used bugs to try to assassinate Padme, maybe the most convoluted plan of all time.